All right, today we're going to talk about Cowboys cornerback Byron Jones, and we're going to look at his recent game against the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 10 of the 2008 NFL season. Looking at this, just starting off right away. First of all, you can follow me on my Twitter for all my content at Coach Minnick. That is listed below as well in the description. Lots of content coming out as the NFL season continues. We do this here on YouTube every week. Also, content at SB Nation and the Grueling Truth, and will be lots of NFL draft content coming very soon. So follow me for more. If you like what you're seeing, what you're hearing, follow me at Coach Minnick on both Twitter and Instagram. All right, so starting off here, this is the first play of the game. All right, Jones is going to be up top. He's the right corner, so it will be up top in the first half. So this is going to be a cover one look right here up top. All right, so he stays right about in stride with him. He's got some inside help, so he's playing outside leverage on it. You'll see that they play outside leverage, and they turn to the inside, playing outside leverage quite a bit. All right, now initially he kind of gets in front of him, and it's important to stay with receivers that not get beat deep, but we also don't want to give up things underneath. And when you're playing a little bit, loose on it, you give up the possibility of things underneath. We'll see that as it comes along. But pretty good that he runs stride for stride with him. He's able to keep it tight horizontally. Really locked onto him horizontally, as you'll see here. Not giving him a lot of space there. So real good position. That's a good job on that one. Once again, up top, we're going to see him in run support here. I'm going to let the play first. Let you see for yourself before I do all the talking. All right, so as we take it back here, you can see. So his first job isn't the run, but you end up being responsible for secondary run support. And really an important thing with that, when you're a cornerback, when you're responsible for a man for a deep field zone, when your primary responsibility isn't to the run game, you've got to make sure you're seeing the receiver blocking on or the ball across the line of scrimmage before you really commit yourself and get up there. One thing I don't like here is initially he's going to come kind of tight, and that puts him in a bit of a vulnerable position. That somebody could potentially reach him. He's really the last line of defense out here. He's the last guy that could stop it. But we see we've got receivers blocking here. They've got an offensive lineman coming out pulling around, and he is inside in here, which is a tough spot for him to be in. However, he works his way out. He does get out to the edge, gets outside of that offensive lineman, and holds that position. If he doesn't do that, he is the last line of defense out there. He's the last person to contain it. There should be another player up there trying to force it, which I think really in this case is number 30 here. All right, but he's the last person to contain it before it hits the edge. So he's got to get out there. If he doesn't, if he gets blocked inside, they got nobody on that edge. All right, so get another idea of it there. All right, so we see him getting a good position, showing out there, getting outside the tackle. That forces the cutback, and they end up picking up no yards on the play. All right, we're going to skip to a little bit later here in the first quarter. All right, once again, up top. Again, I'll let you watch it first, and we'll go back and talk about it. All right, so he starts off pressed. Looks like it's going to be a man look, and it is a man look on the bottom, but it's a combination look here that they're flashing out. He's actually dropping back into the third. So getting out of there, bailing out, showing the press man, but bailing out on that. And what I really like of him here is actually what comes at the end of the play. So keep your eye on him. It's an interception by Van Der Esch. Look at how he keeps working, and he gets on a block trying to help out his teammate. They don't get a score here, but I mean the defensive score I mean, that's one of the sexiest things in football. That's one of the best things that can happen. And for it to happen, a lot of the times you're going to need guys helping out. You're going to need everybody really, becoming an offense there, and the guys who don't have the ball getting up there and getting blocks on that. So that's real impressive. That's a good effort play. Not something that's going to make any highlight reels. Not something that people other than me are going to pick out very often. Excuse me. Great audio there when I'm coughing into the mic. I apologize for that, but not something a lot of people are gonna notice. Gonna make any highlights, but a great play by him, a great effort play, and this is the sort of thing that when you have guys doing that, you can do really good things within a defensive unit. Once again, up top, we'll take a look here first. All right, so we're in press man here, and I'm going to slow it down, make it nice and slow here at the beginning so we can take a good look. We want to look right away at his feet. All right, he's going to take an inside step right away. Gets him a little bit out of position, but that's okay. What the problem is with his hips. When we start to turn your hips and you start to see your shoulders, and you can see his shoulder flash right there, and that's what kind of locks out his hips and gives that receiver an opportunity. Fortunately, he whips around real fast and locks right back in on him. But that's the spot where a little bit better release. The receiver got him to bite on the inside release, but failed. Failed to capitalize on it. Wasn't able to get out to the outside with enough speed. All right, definitely could have gotten a step on him there, but good effort, good speed helped him make up for it and get right back in there on that and prevent the receiver from running down the field uncontested wide open. All right, now we're in the second quarter. He's going to be in the bottom here. You can see it's a little bit tighter look, and he's going to be pressed right here at the beginning. Once again, not a highlight reel play, but something it's a really good play, and the kind of thing you need guys on your team to do things like this. I like how he's getting up there and he's getting physical with that guy right away. He's not backing off, but I love how he finishes. The ball's going away, and he's chasing. All right, and he's not just chasing and running, directly behind the guy. He's taking a great pursuit angle. On the backside corner when the run breaks away is what we call the home run player. All right, and it's called a home run because your job is to prevent the home run. So I like to think about Bo Jackson running up the side in the outfield and making that ridiculous catch that everybody knows so well. I like to think about it that way. It's the guy who can do the ridiculous thing, the last second thing, to prevent the big play from happening. So as this thing breaks, he's taking this angle, right, realizing he's the last person that can stop it. So if this does keep going, if all these guys get blocked, if one of them misses the tackle, and this guy's running down the sideline, Jones is taking the angle here where he's going to be able to prevent that touchdown, get there, and push that guy out of bounds. You can't run straight to him. He's going to outrun you, obviously. So he's taking an angle to cut that down and make it about the same distance. All right? So, I mean, look, this isn't a crazy idea. It's not a crazy concept. It's just something that's not that far away from happening. If this guy doesn't make the tackle right now, all right, there's some room. If this guy happened to be blocked, we might have a problem here, all right, because this linebacker probably doesn't have enough speed to make that play from where he's at right now. These big guys running straight behind it, they sure don't. So if this guy isn't here, if he trips up, he misses this tackle too, Jones is probably making this play another 20 or so yards down the field, again, preventing the touchdown, preventing the big play. So that's something that can be huge, and it's the kind of effort, a corner's got to show this a bunch of times to ever make it worth it. But it's the sort of thing that, in a tight game and in a tight season, it's going to matter at some point. You never know when it's going to matter, but you got to be doing it. So you're doing it, the time that's important, the time it saves the game, and maybe saves your season for you as well. All right, so a couple plays later here in the same drive. Once again on the bottom, I'll let it play. All right, so he's playing outside man. All right, he's pressed up, but he's not really playing press. He's kind of starting to bail out a little bit here. He's probably playing on top of it, and he's playing, a little bit too high on it. So when it breaks in here, he gives that receiver some room. All right, receiver's got his hips. You can see the receiver looks like he's sitting down almost. All right, his hips aren't bent enough. He's not really ready to make that cut, so he's going to be slower in his cut. And the way that you can match up to that is if you're able to keep your eyes and see their hips, which playing this specific technique where you're off, but you're not really off, it makes it difficult to be able to do that and have your eyes in the right place for it. So I'm going to slow it down here so we can see the transition a little bit. But you're going to see his transition's a lot slower right now. He's still collecting himself, still kind of sitting down. And look at all that space, both horizontally and vertically, if they want to go to that receiver. All right, a few plays later. Once again, I'll let it play. We're down at the bottom of the screen. All right, this is a run play here, but he's in man coverage. He's in press coverage, press man coverage. The receiver releases like it's a pass route. So as far as we're concerned, as far as he's concerned, it's a pass route. It's different up top where they're blocking. All right, but to him, it's a pass route. He's got to treat it as such. All right, so we're going to see stays square. Now he's starting to open his hips. If that guy comes inside, he's going to have a problem, right? He's a little far ahead of him, and he's opening his hips a little bit too soon. But all in all, he's staying right with him, pretty smooth in transition. He just gets a little bit ahead of things sometimes, which can give up inside cuts, cuts underneath, or comeback routes when you're playing on routes like that. And we will see how that stuff can come in a little bit later. All right, we're going to go later in the quarter here. Once again, at the bottom of the screen, he's playing a little bit loose here. We'll take a look, and then I'll talk about it. All right. Now, at first look, it almost looks like he got hit on that dig route, playing too loose on it, because that's the ball basically goes to the same spot. They got two receivers in pretty close to the same spot. It's not his guy that makes the catch here. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing we were just talking about. Look how loose he's playing. Like he's playing really far off. And when this route gets to him, we're going to slow down here. Playing real far off, which is okay. That's a technique he can play. All right. Now his hips are in a great position. He sees it start to cut. He cuts around real slow, and then he doesn't break that. This is where the real problem is. Yeah, you can play loose. All right. You can play loose in man, but when he makes his break and he's made that cut and committed to it, now you got to start to cut down this space instead of just running and kind of shadow him a few yards away. You got to cut down that space. Way too much space for this guy to be able to catch the ball, and he's going to move in both directions. So you got to be breaking kind of at this angle, really aiming for the upfield shoulder, but where he's going to be. But keep your eye on him in case it does stop or come back or anything like that. But look at all that space. He's just running parallel with him. He's a step behind him even. Cut down that space. They end up throwing the ball right in front of him here, but he's open, right? If that guy's not there, that ball could go right to him. Looks like Jones makes the tackle on the wrong guy there. I think he thought the ball was going there too and just reacted. So got to cut down that space, prevent that catch from being made if that was where the ball is going. Defensive coaches work a lot in hypotheticals. It's you can't coach. You can't coach people, based on the play as it went. because if you only coach their mistakes when their mistakes matter, it's going to be too late. You're going to get fired. So you got to coach the mistakes before the mistakes get exposed by the opposing team. This is the last play that we'll look at in the first half here. Once again, on the bottom of your screen, take a look. All right. So once again, it's an in-cutting like dig route and better job here. Now he's playing press. He's able to keep it tight. He's in a position. He's going to be able to make a play on the ball. He's definitely going to be able to make the tackle on that. So that's a much better job. He is in a much better position on that look. Going into the third quarter. This is going to be the Eagles' first play of the third quarter. Up at the top now, and we'll take a look. All right, so this is a good job here. Right now he's pressed. He's playing that receiver tight. Looks like it's going to be a press man look. All right, but it is actually a zone coverage, and he shows it, he baits it, and then he bails out hard. All right, so if you keep an eye on him up top, he bails out, keeps dropping, and it pays off because that receiver that bent across the formation is right there, and he's able to make a play on that ball. All right, we'll take a look right here up top once again. I'll let it play. All right, once again, just playing a little bit too tight. We're playing tight. We kind of want to be behind it, though. You don't want to be in front of it. There's an expression, they use it a lot in special teams, too. If he's even, he's leaving. So if you're running even with a receiver, he's going to be able to make a cut. You want to be really just slightly behind him, like basically on his back hip. Now they're stride for stride with each other. You want to be like on his back hip because then you can make the adjustment when he's looking to cut underneath, go to the comeback. And even if they throw a fade, if they throw a vertical outside ball there and they put it in front of him, he's running stride to stride, you're still going to see, he's going to have to make a little bit of an adjustment to catch the ball. Generally, he's going to slow down a little bit. His hands are going to come up, which is going to slow him down. So there's going to be opportunities to adjust to all those things as well. So it's not just about, you're not giving up the deep ball because you're playing all the other stuff. And so I'm going to slow it down here, and we'll see his position here. And there's the comeback, and he's running right by it. So if they throw that, and that's timed real well, that's going to be the throw. Not quite a first down, but that's a good yardage gain for them if that's where they decide to go with it. All right, a little bit later here in the third quarter. Up top, once again, I will let you take a look. All right. Love the aggression there, right? You don't see this at every cornerback. The only way he comes up here, sets a real good, real strong edge. Awesome job there. Keeps that ball inside, forces it to cut back to where he's got help in there. Takes on an offensive lineman on that one. So good job all around there. Definitely things that you like to see. Up top again. See, now this I like how he's breaking it down, right? He gets that out cutting route and he cuts down the space. He's playing off of it. Cut down that space. Don't give him room. So he's doing a much better job there than we saw in some of the other things where he was allowing space to receivers. Up top again. It's kind of an interesting one. Make sure you keep an eye on him all throughout. All right, so he's playing man. He's got some help inside. He's playing outside leverage on it. All right, running stride for stride with it. As they stem inside, he runs past it, basically. And he also gives him room to the inside because he's not really following him to the inside. Now, he is supposed to have some help in there in this defense, and he kind of does. The linebacker's playing pretty shallow there, though. He's not really, to where the safety's at. But yeah, I mean, that gives that receiver some space. Then he keeps fighting though, right? And then he looks to run to it, and then he runs underneath him as they cut back up on that. So I love the effort. I think that's something he shows great effort a lot, and really does some nice things to not give up on plays. Not You're not going to make all the plays. You're not going to be perfect in your technique. And sometimes guys are going to be bigger and faster than you. But if you're good enough, if you meet certain minimums and you've got some athletic ability and you got the hustle and the fight, you're going to be okay most of the time. It's going to prevent you from giving up big, huge things. Up top again. All right, so he's trying to do something. He's trying to communicate something here. So plays a little loose here. He gets his out cut. And he bicycle turns on it. So he does a pretty decent job with the bicycle turn. It's kind of what you're forced to do when you're playing that type of technique. And he shows good, smooth hips coming around on it. I just want to see him close that space. If this goes out a little bit further, close that space. He's just got about a yard there. Get right up on his shoulder. Not bad, though. Okay, bicycle or speed turn, as I was touching on there, is when you're turning away from the receiver to get to the receiver. Usually, it's because you're in bad position. Here, it's kind of by necessity with the technique that they have them playing in man coverage. All right, fourth quarter at the bottom of the screen. This is going to be a tough one for him. Take a look. All right, so he's picked pretty bad there, right? And what are you going to do? He's not playing tight enough to really run underneath it. Even if he was, he'd probably run into the guy. He plays over top. He keeps hustling. He tries to get to it. And we have a wide open receiver that, manages to gain 10 yards in the play. Maybe. You take it. You'll take that. That's the big thing. Defensively, you have to be willing to give some things up. You have to understand, the whole, don't give up 1 yard. Remember the Titans, crescendo, that ending of that movie thing. That's not real life, and especially not the NFL right now. You've got to stay on top of the big plays. You got to understand that offenses can do things where they're gonna move the ball on you, and stay away from big plays. Do a good job in the red zone, and you're going to be all right with it. So you got to be able to make those hustle plays to stay on top of that stuff sometimes. On the bottom again here. All right, so now we see the comeback. Okay, so we got the comeback. Once again, look at his position. Right there. Great example. He's already in front of it. Okay, he's already in front of it. And they'll make this adjustment on the fly. Sometimes these things are called, but they'll make this adjustment on the fly here where both Wentz and the receiver are reading the defensive back, understanding his position. If he's bailing, they're going to go to the comeback. If he's playing underneath it, he's going to keep running vertically. They'll do that with cover 3, cover 2, as well as in man coverage. But he's even. Wentz throws a good ball here, puts it on his back shoulder. Right? Jones is in front of it. Receiver turns around, uses the receiver to block Jones, prevent him from being able to make any kind of play on that. So that's a good job, by the receiver, by Wentz. And that's an example of why you don't really want to be in front of those routes, because you can give those things up. Bottom again. All right, so I like this position much better. So here we are running just underneath. Can't throw that back shoulder ball there, right? Just underneath it. So I do like seeing that quite a bit better there. All right, so that's going to be it for today on Byron Jones. Once again, if you're still listening, follow me on Twitter at Coach Minnick. That is listed below. I do this every single week. I'm going to have a lot of NFL draft content. I will be looking at every single defensive back in the draft, doing a comprehensive breakdown of the defensive backs in the draft. So look for that stuff coming soon. All my content is on my Twitter. It comes from Grueling Truth. It comes from YouTube. It comes from SB Nation, Cincy Jungle. But you don't have to look at all those places. You just have to go to my Twitter, and you'll see that stuff coming up and posted and refreshed on a regular basis. So thank you for listening, and I will be back next week with another defensive back breakdown.